Hi guys, it's Angie with Fun Endeavors Tie-Dye Lab. Today I'm going to make an ice and liquid dyed tank top. I purchased this tank top toward the beginning of the summer and I kind of forgot about it. It is only a 60% cotton tank top, but I thought I would give it a try and see how it turns out. The other 40% of the tank top is polyester, so I already know that that part's not going to dye. I have the tank turned inside out and I'm beginning by folding it in half. Ultimately, what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to make large vertical fan folds in this tank top. So I'm going to grab one side and I'm going to fold it in toward the middle. Then I want to divide this space in half again, so I'm going to grab that edge and fold it back one time. I'm going to turn the shirt over, but I'm ultimately going to end up unfolding the shirt and using these first two sections that I folded as a guide to make all the other sections this same width. I'm going to straighten up the top portion. And then starting down at the bottom hem of the shirt, I'm going to roll the shirt as tightly as I can. To hold the folds tightly in place, I'm going to use some kite string. And since I don't have a whole lot left on this spool, I'm going to go ahead and put a couple of rubber bands just to make sure everything stays in place. After I have the shirt totally tied, I'm going to go ahead and set it aside. I ended up getting busy and it actually sat there for at least 2 or 3 weeks before I got around to applying the dye. I wanted to try something different with this shirt, so I decided to use both liquid and ice dye methods on the shirt. I'm going to start by taking a piece of foil and kind of making a boat or a small container for the shirt to fit in. And I've put the piece of foil inside of a plastic container. Using a washable marker, I'm going to divide the top of this shirt into 4 sections. In one section, I'm going to apply amethyst from Dharma Trading Company. Then in the section opposite the amethyst, I'm going to apply plum from Grateful Dyes. Next, I'm using aqua from Pro Chemical and Dye. And across from that, I'm going to use cerulean blue from Custom Colors. I'm going to add just a small sprinkle of soda ash over the top of the dye and add some ice on top. After the ice was on the shirt, I set it aside and allowed this first layer of ice to melt. Since this shirt is so thick, I went ahead and added a second layer of ice and I allowed it to melt as well. Okay, so the second layer of ice is not totally melted, but it's pretty close. And you can see why I go ahead and put the foil down inside of a container. Soda ash kind of eats away at the foil. You can also see how well the color is going down through the shirt. I probably could just leave it alone and it would look like a really cool shirt. But instead I'm going to go ahead and add some liquid dye into this foil boat or container. I'm dumping close to half of a cup of pink lilac from Dye Spin into the container. And then I'm going to add close to 1/4 of a cup of crimson rose from Dye Spin into the foil as well. I know because there is a hole in the foil, a lot of this is going to leak out and just go into the container. That's why I'm adding a little bit of extra liquid to the foil. After I add the dye to the foil, I'm going to set it aside and allow it to process for about 24 hours. To rinse the shirt, I took it to my utility sink and I began rinsing it in cold water to rinse out the soda ash that was left in the shirt. Then I gradually warmed it up to hot and rinsed until the water was almost clear to get out the excess dye. Then I put the shirt along with some Dharma's textile detergent into my washing machine and I washed it using a hot water cycle. And after the shirt was washed and dried, this is what it looks like. So what do you guys think about the shirt? Honestly, it turned out being a lot more bright and vivid than I expected it to. Since it was just 60% cotton and 40% polyester, I thought it would be a lot more pastel than it turned out. You can't tell from the photos, but it is kind of fuzzy, which is what happens on a shirt if it's not 100% cotton, is sometimes it kind of has a fuzzy look to it. But it's a super soft shirt and it turned out much brighter than I thought it would. As far as the design goes, it's a little wacky. I mean, I wasn't exactly sure what to expect with it. I can tell the aqua and the cerulean on this shirt. The cerulean, the majority of it is on the top portion, and then I'm getting more aqua going all the way through the shirt. As far as the amethyst, it's a little bit harder to tell what is amethyst dye and what are the two liquid colors that I used. The plum is mainly on the top half of the shirt too. There's a little bit down in the bottom portion, but there's a pretty strong line of the plum just a couple of inches below the armpit of the tank. The liquid dye that I used was left over from making color swatches with the Dye Spin dye. So this is the first shirt that I've actually used that dye on. I can tell the crimson rose in the top portion, that's the red color, right up next to the neck and on the back. As far as the pink lilac and the amethyst are really close in color, and it's a little bit difficult for me to tell which is which. I almost think that the top portion of the shirt, the design looks very different than the bottom. I mean, there are some of the elements that are the same, but the top portion is definitely more mottled and kind of blends together, and the bottom portion is pretty distinct. I mean, it is definite lines in the shirt. I don't know, it's kind of different. I like it. I think it almost looks like flowers in that bottom portion. And then obviously out of the aqua, there was a little bit of green color that came out, and it's down in the bottom of some of those pink flower looking portions. I think it looks kind of cool, but what do you guys think? Drop me a comment down below and let me know what you think about this shirt. And if you've enjoyed the video, I sure would appreciate it if you would like it, and I'd also appreciate it if you'd subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you have a great day.